This conference will now be recorded.
Hello Chetan, welcome to QA Labs for you. So today we are going to start our first mock of this session. Okay. So before going further, just tell me a little bit about yourself, your career summary or your projects, roles and responsibilities, whatever you are right now taking care.
Sure. So my name is Chetan and I'm working in some organization. So currently I am having 5 years of experience and uh, I have worked upon both automation and manual testing. So coming to the manual testing side, I have been involved in all the test life cycle, starting from the requirement analysis, doing creating test plans, RTM, and uh, designing of test case, and then execution, and then and the final stage, that is giving the sign off. And for API automation, I am using Postman in my current project. Jumping on to the automation part. So for
Yes.
doing web UI automation, I am using Selenium with Java, and
Okay.
I have experience also in JMeter.
Mm-hmm.
For that, basically, I am running the script for the API which we have created. So, and I have also experience in the API automation, for
Okay.
which I am using HTTP client library.
Okay. Fine.
And
So
currently,
yes,
yeah,
so I
so
think you have pretty much of experience in automation also. So if I talk about like how much you have year of experience in automation out of your total experience, how you can say that? How much you can say that?
I am having 2.5 years in automation and 2.5 years in manual.
Okay, fine, fine. So you have worked on web part, you have worked on API part, right? So why you think that? Why do you think that if we are able to like test the things from the front end, why we need to test it from the API? What is the need of API testing?
Sure. So basically, like before going for any UI, so
Mm-hmm.
as per my experience, generally we have a APIs. So front end is built using the APIs. So yeah,
Okay.
API testing is important. So like API testing is important as first it saves the time. Like
Okay.
before going at the front end and doing all the testing, we can do it by using APIs only, and it is time efficient. And whatever
Okay.
defects that, as you know, that early, as we can catch defects early in the phase, that is the best part instead of going at the end of the stage, because there the defects fixing is cost is more. So
Correct, correct. I understand your point. So it's like if we do the API testing, we can ensure all the bugs, whatever the business we can say business cases, we can cover maximum by API testing, so that whenever we do the integration along with the API on the front end, so less amount of efforts we need to invest on the front end testing, and we will almost cover most of the things from the API side, right?
right. And apart from
Okay.
this, like maintaining API framework, I guess
Mm-hmm.
as per my perspective, it is very easy rather than going it for front end, because front end we have multiple things. But I
Okay, okay.
think
So I think my next question is why you think that this web API, web automation is comparatively difficult, or I can say time consuming compared to API. You have worked on both, right?
right.
So what your experience on that? Like why these API automation is easier, or we can say less time consuming than the web?
So like
Any
coming on,
idea?
yes, yes. So like coming on to the web automation, like we need to have the drivers, we have common utility package, and like many things are involved in it, right? So coming to
Okay.
the API, like as far as I know, like currently I'm using BDT framework. So in that,
Okay.
like we only have three files, and one is the
Mm-hmm.
util package, and I think rest that comparison comparing it with the web UI, like a lot of things are different. First of all, like we need to have a driver, and then it takes
Mm-hmm.
more time for execution. Basically, the web driver will open in your browser, and then it will interact. But coming on to the API, you are directly hitting, and the speed of execution, you can say, or the time period to execute all the regression or suit and everything, it's very less as compared to the web UI.
Okay. Okay. Got your point. So next question is from the API part. Like you have worked on the API thing. So how many different types of methods you have encountered while doing the testing?
So currently I have used get,
Okay.
post and delete.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Get, post, and delete. So why we use post?
Post is basically used to create a record
Mm-hmm.
in, like suppose in my project, like
Okay.
we have like someone, if like someone wants to insert their information, so we are using post request for that.
Okay. Okay. And suppose I want to update something. So is it
Then
possible to do it via API?
yes, we can have a put request.
Okay. Put request. We have put request. Fine. So I think you have also encountered with some of the status codes while doing the
Yes,
API testing.
yes,
So can you tell me some of them?
yes, sure. So like in general you want, or you want some specific
In,
like?
in, in general, like whatever you have
Okay,
encountered in your project.
okay. Like generally they say like for starting with 100 ones, that is in informational. 500 ones are generally server ones. 400 ones are basically like the client client related status codes. 3 1 are
Okay.
generally redirectional one. 300 something like whatever the count is there, and 200 are basically the informational status code, like 200 is success, 201 that is created, 404 page not found,
Okay.
4144 that is for forbidden,
Okay.
and 500 internal server error. I
Okay.
think these I have encountered while I was doing the testing.
Okay. And suppose, Chetan, we are going to test some API and we have like intentionally did some mistake in the payload. What will happen?
Okay,
Like we have
right.
login API, we have login API, and in the login API we have to provide the payload with username or password, and we forgot to mention the password. What will happen from the API point of view? And
Like
what
API
will
part
happen?
of,
Yes, and what will happen if we will provide some invalid password? So I'm just asking from the backend point of view, API point of view. What will
like
be the
then we
error code? What will be the messages?
like error code will be like, as per my, like 400 414, that is
414.
no, I think it, you are saying that I am not giving the password, right?
Yes,
In
yes,
the
yes. You forgot to pass the password in the payload.
at, oh, okay, then it is like bad request,
Correct,
like if we
correct,
miss something.
correct. So that thing I was expecting from you. Okay. Now you have also mentioned that you take part in the Scrum, right?
Yes,
From like in this requirement gathering part and everything, you are also a part of Scrum. So can you tell me some of the Scrum ceremonies which we usually perform in our projects?
yeah, sure, definitely. So first of all, coming with the starting, so we generally in the starting of a sprint that is
Mhm.
a 2 week sprint. That is a fixed, like it
Okay.
depends from project to project. Like it can be
Okay.
from 1 week till the 1 month. That depends totally on the project. So in my
Okay.
case, it is of 2 weeks. So in starting, we have sprint planning meeting. In sprint planning, like we have business own business and analyst or product owner, any of these,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have all the team, including my manager. So in that, we pick up the features that we need to do it in this sprint, and then further the features are divided into the user stories. So basically, we
Okay.
point like we do brainstorming, like what
Oh,
things we
okay.
can do, like what point, like how much time we should give, and all that stuff. It is discussed in that meeting. And in general, like every day till the sprint end, we are having a 15-minute stand-up call,
Okay.
and then at the end of the sprint, we have sprint review and then a retrospective meeting.
Okay. So what is the difference between these two
And in
meetings?
and in between, we have a demo call also.
Okay, fine. So what is the difference between this review meeting and the retrospective?
Review, like retrospective is basically coming to, like here we discuss what were the good points, what
Mm-hmm.
things we can improve, and all those things. So, and review is
Okay.
basically like it, it is similar to like retrospective only.
Okay.
So here also, like we discussed, like if it like if we have uh, if we can find other ways of doing one particular thing. So that I think we generally do it in a review meeting, that
Okay.
sprint review.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
suppose I have used like Java, like suppose any method, instead of doing
Mm-hmm.
writing that much code, we should have used some other client, like other libraries to do so, so that we can save our time. Something like that we discuss generally.
Okay, okay. So, like in the Scrum ceremonies, you have some planning sessions also where you will give the story points to the
Yes, yes,
stories, whatever we are
yes,
picking, right?
you're right.
So, what are the story points you will give, and on what basis? Like you will decide that this much of story point we should give on one particular story. What will be your approach?
See,
Suppose,
like
suppose I'm giving you one use case, like we have one particular feature for the login functionality, okay? And for the login functionality, we have one story from the backend, one story from the front end for the UI part and the integration part, and one is totally for the backend. Now you have to give the story points on QA basis. How you will rate? How you will give the pointers?
see, coming to, like we cannot entire like in limited time when we cannot automate everything, right? I think that
Correct.
is considered during this meeting also, like planning meeting, that one go we can't automate every user story. So as far as my experience, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
so we usually like we go with 3 point, like we are following prime number series, one
Okay.
three, 1 2 3 5, like 5 is the maximum highest, because
Okay.
in a
Okay.
in whatever project we are. So I generally give it a, like it depends, like if I need to start from a scratch,
Mm-hmm.
like framework is already there, I know, but yeah, but all the things, like I need, like there is a new API, then I give a higher pointer generally. And suppose if
Okay.
it is a kind of like a maintenance work, like some few tweaks or few updates, then I think we can
Okay.
go with 2 or 1.
Okay.
So
Okay. Fine. So, Chetan, I will repeat myself again. I think there is some confusion. I'm here saying that first time you are going to test this login functionality. Okay. And you are talking about the automation efforts, right? So, in general, whenever we are going to develop anything from the scratch, suppose some particular feature is going to develop in a sprint one, and we are going to start sprint 1. So do you think is it possible to plan automation for that particular feature also? Because we do the automations one that particular feature is stable enough, right? Before that we have to perform manual.
Yes.
Got it?
Got it.
So I think you are confused that this particular feature is already developed and we are like asking for the automation efforts, right?
Right. You are right.
Okay, fine. But as per the experience or whatever I can say, that whenever we do the sprint planning activity and we usually take the APIs or tickets, whatever we have already covered or already tested in the last sprint, only those stories we will pick for the automation. Rest all the new features we will consider it as the as the manual work, because once that particular feature is developed, tested, and deployed on the production, and we are sure that yes, this is working fine and there is no need to change anything, then we do the automation to avoid the regression efforts. Otherwise there is no point for the automation if we are keep changing the implementation of the feature, right?
Right.
Okay, fine. Now you have mentioned that you have worked on this bug tracking tool. So which particular tool you have used?
Currently, I am using CA Agile.
Okay. And what is the workflow of your bug cycle in your project?
Like bug cycle is basically we open a bug,
Mm-hmm.
we then it is in open set, then we assign it to a developer,
Okay.
and then he fix it. Then he changes the status from assigned to fix, and then
Okay.
it goes then it goes to tester for retesting. Then we put it in a retest phase, and then if
Okay.
everything is working fine, then we close it. Otherwise, we reopen it. And
Okay.
sometimes
Fine.
what happens, like the defects are not fixed due to some priority work, so we
Okay.
may mark them as dev so that in
Oh,
upcoming sprint we can fix
okay. Okay. Fine. So Chetan, you have also mentioned that you have involved in some of the project where you have worked on Scrum as well as Kanban meetings, right?
them. Yes.
So can you just give us little bit difference between Kanban and Scrum?
So Scrum is basically like we have a time period in that.
Okay.
Like there is a time foundation, and
Okay. It's like a
that
sprint. Some sprint is going on and
within
we have to
yes,
deliver the things
within the
within that sprint,
within
right?
that sprint. And can
Okay.
yes, and Kanban is like it is like there is no time foundation. Basically, the time limit is not there, so
Okay.
it we can give it like as soon as the product is stable as.
Okay.
And basically other one is like collaboration is needed in Scrum,
Okay. Okay.
and there we need contigrade to achieve the goals basically in Kanban.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine.
And Kanban we need to plan everything before like in Scrum, but
Mhm.
we like it doesn't require planning basically in Kanban.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So you have also mentioned that you have worked on this test case writing activity, right? So can
Right.
you just write two or three negative cases for the lift? Okay. Can you just write down three negative and three positive for the lift and can share or can speak? I will give you 5 minutes.
So
Fine.
I will like think and let you know.
Yes, yes, yes. You can take 5 minutes, or if you want, we can give you 2 more minutes. But you have to like write down within some specific time period.
Yeah, if you want, I can share.
Okay, so you can speak.
Yeah, sure. So positive scenario is like uh, when you press the sorry, when you press the up button, then the lift should move upwards, and if you press the down button, then the lift should move downward in the downward direction.
Okay,
And you can check
okay,
the stop functionality, like stop button is there. You can press and check the
okay,
normal functionality, like whether it is being stopped or not. These are the
okay,
three basic scenarios, positive scenario.
mhm,
Coming to the negative
okay,
scenarios, we can basically check like when you are moving and you try to
mhm,
open the lift door of the
o-
doors of the lift. So
okay,
it should not open as per the expected value. And
okay,
we are, suppose the lift capacity is 6 people and we are trying to add one more person, then also
okay,
a buzzer or some something
okay,
should message be displayed.
okay,
and and last one, according to me, like negative scenario is like suppose if there is a fire extinguisher in the lift, so like
mhm,
we can check whether we like we can bring a smoke near the like
mhm,
sensors are there, and then we can check whether how it is behaving.
okay, okay, fine. So you have also worked on database, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you are aware about joins?
Yes.
So just tell me some of the joins which you have used in your project and how those joins will perform their actions, like how they will execute. Any example from your project you can give?
Okay, like joins basically like inner join,
Mm-hmm.
left join, right join.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the joins like outer
Why,
out,
why, why,
outer
why, why we use joins?
joins are basically used to combine the data of the two tables.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
like
Now,
inner
now
join
you can proceed.
is so for inner join basically we are joining the table on the basis of the common column.
Okay,
Left join is basically it is like we are adding the uh, data of the left table, and what are the data that is common with the left table, we are from the right table we are adding it here, and rest values will be none.
okay, fine. Next,
So for right join,
yes,
right
right
join is
join.
basically right, right join is basically like we will add the entire data of the right table, and what
Okay,
is common in the left table that will be added, and rest values will be null.
okay, fine.
And then is outer join. Outer join is like left and inner join union. You can it
Okay,
is like combining
okay,
the entire.
okay, fine, fine. So, any idea like what is the difference between this delete, drop, and truncate?
Yes. So delete, drop, and truncate. So delete is a DML command, while drop and
Okay,
truncate are DDL commands.
okay,
So like we can delete uh, delete table name where we can add where clause. In drop and truncate we don't have a where clause. And delete
okay,
we can delete using where, or we can delete right, like we can mention like delete table name we can mention, so it will delete all the records. So come, and while drop we write drop table name. So
yes,
what drop does, it like delete, it will delete only the data, while
okay,
drop like all the data plus the table structure will be deleted. And
okay,
coming to the truncate one, so it also behaves like a delete, like only the data will be deleted. So coming on to the speed, like delete is slower as compared to truncate.
Okay.
And drop is also like faster if we compare delete and drop.
Okay.
So this is because of the reason, because in delete we have a special functionality that is rollback. We can roll back delete, but in truncate we cannot roll back, and drop also we can't roll.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So can you tell me one query? Like I want number of employees from my organization having salary more than 10K. Okay, my organization is QLabs for you. Okay, and I have some of the employees whose salary is more than 10K. So can you tell me the query? You can write down and then let me know.
So, yeah, I guess you basically need the employees whose salary is greater than 10,000, right?
Correct. I'm interested in the count. This is a hint, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it is like select count star
Okay.
from employee
Mhm.
table where salary greater than 10K.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Fine. Looks fine. So Chetan, one more thing, before going further on the automation thing, I just want to ask one more query. What is the difference between severity and the priority? This is from the manual.
Severity,
Okay.
severity is basically like how much like the defect, that problem impact to business, and
Mm-hmm.
priority is the urgency, like with how much timeline the defect should be fixed.
Okay. And can you give me example for low severity and high priority?
Low severity and high priority.
Yes. Actually, like in your real-time project, you actually use this severity or priority in your bug
Ye-
life cycle?
Yes, yes, we prioritize the defects.
Okay. So like how you will decide for one particular bug, what will be the priority and what will be the severity? So according to that, you can answer. You can take your application example. It's up to you.
Like I need to give for a high priority and low
Okay.
severity, right? Like this is the
Correct. Correct.
example.
Correct.
So high priority and low severity is like basically like in the home page, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now, home
Okay.
page, like home page spelling,
Yes, you
or
can.
you can say the home page functionality is not working. Like if you scroll and you click on the home page again, then
Mm-hmm.
that functionality is not working. So I think like
So, Chetan, if entire functionality is not working, so do
that
you
is high
think it's
severity.
severity?
No, no,
Yes,
I
but here I'm asking for low severity, right?
low it you can say the spelling of the home page is not correct. Like HOME, the M is
Okay.
HOE, page is
Yes.
spelling
It,
page
it,
like.
it, it means it will not impact the functionality, but yes, it's like UI thing which we have to like rectify so that we will not destroy the image of the organization. Because if some of
Yes.
the organization is very big and there is some UI issue or spelling issue on their page, so that might impact their image, right? Okay. So Chetan, how you rate yourself in Java? Like out of 5, how much you can rate?
3.5.
3.5. Okay. So what is the difference between overloading and overriding?
Overloading is basically we have one method,
Okay.
and we basically the compiler check like method name remains same. Basically, it checks for the parameters. Like we can have
Okay.
different para count first of all, different types.
Okay. Okay.
So these are the main things. And it has to be within one class for overloading.
Okay.
Overriding it is like a child-parent relationship. Like whatever method
Okay.
you have written in the parent, you need to override that particular method in your child class.
Okay. Okay. Fine. And what is interface?
Interface is basically like we only have the ideas. It is like when
Mhm.
we use that is why we use interface. So like suppose there is a car interface. So in car like we can have method move,
Okay.
like move forward, backward, and all these method. And
Okay.
then in the whatever class which is in inheriting like which implements that interface, we can
Okay. Okay.
we can override that.
Okay. So it's like implementation is not decided yet. It will be decided
Yes,
in the implementation class, right?
preparation class. Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So where you have used this particular interface concept in your automation?
Automation like WebDriver, you can say WebDriver is an interface.
Okay.
So
So
like
what you did with that interface, like how you have utilized, and I'm just asking how you have implemented that particular thing in your framework. Can you just give me idea?
okay, so like for interface, like we created one interface where
Mhm.
like basically like we need to check for we need to perform the like check for the web element like and then we pass the locator. So that method we created in the interface, and then whatever class that is implementing that interface then met, we have
Okay.
given the method
Okay.
implementation in that class.
Okay. So Chetan, what are all implementation class for this WebDriver interface? As you said, this is a particular interface, right? So what all are the implementation class for this particular interface?
Chrome driver, internet
Okay.
internet explorer driver, Firefox driver,
Okay. Okay.
HTML
Fine.
unit driver.
Okay. So can we create object of the interface?
No.
Okay. Why?
Like basically we don't create the object because we are creating a reference of the interface like the WebDriver equal to new.
Okay, okay. So, Chetan, actually, we are not like giving the implementation like in the interface. We are just defining the method in the interface. We are not giving the actual implementation what we will going to implement in the interface. So there
Yes,
is no point for the objects, right?
yes, right.
Okay. So you are comfortable in collections?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the difference between list and set?
So basic differences like list maintains the insertion order, set doesn't maintain the insertion order, and
Okay.
List can allow duplicate, and set doesn't allow
Okay.
duplicates.
Okay.
So these are the two basic differences.
Okay. And where you have used these two list and set concepts in your automation?
Like list concepts, basically with respect to front end, like uh, list, we can suppose there are, I suppose if we open the Google website, and if we search, like there is a
Okay.
search functionality, and then if we click on
Yes.
the search button, then we get multiple hyperlinks, like blue color text, or
Okay.
so I need to suppose the count. I need to count the number of headings that is being displayed. For that, we have
Okay.
used so I have used find elements, and then I have
Okay.
stored that particular thing in the list, and then we use, generally there is a method in list dot size, so that we can get the
Okay.
count. And for set, I have used when we are doing switch to, like we are switching from one window to another. Like there, I have used set
Okay. Okay.
with respect to
So
Selenium.
okay, okay, got it, got your point. So what is the difference between find element and find elements when we use these two? Because you have already tell us one example, right? So now
Right.
I'm more interested in find elements versus find element.
So find element will give you the first element, web element in the
Hmm.
DOM, and find
Okay,
elements will give you the list of all the elements that are matching with the respective XPath. So
okay.
here, suppose if we don't find, like whatever XPath we have given, if we are using find element, and if we
Hmm.
don't find that particular XPath, then it will give element not found exception. While in case of find elements, it will return you the empty list.
Okay, okay, fine. And you said about the XPath, right? So what is the difference between relative and the absolute one? Which one you have used in your framework?
Like I have used the relative one. Sometimes
Okay,
like it is a sometimes where it is very, like I know that is a constant that won't change. So rarely I go for absolute, but yeah, I avoid using absolute. I
okay,
am more into relative one.
okay, fine, got it. So what are different locators which you have used and why so? Because there are multiple, but I'm
Yes.
100% sure you have never used all of them in a single project, right?
Yes. So basically I go for ID, then
Okay,
I go for name, and then I
okay,
go for XPath. Then
okay.
my least
And
preference is for CSS.
why so?
Like I'm not much more comfortable in writing CSS XPath.
Okay, 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 fine. But in terms of execution speed,
Yeah, I know that
this
CSS works
CSS is
fast,
faster, right?
fast. Yes,
So if
and
you
even
are
like
working on, yes, if you are working on one project where you have lots of XPaths, so if you like change, or if you will choose CSS over XPath, so it will reduce some amount of your time, execution time, especially in case of web automation, because web automation takes lots of time, right? We need some synchronization things so that we can synchronize our script and all scripts should work properly. So in to maintain this, the execution time period will also increase. And one constraint is always with us, that we should minimize the execution time frame of of our automation framework, right?
right, and even like suppose sometimes if we need to traverse through backward using, so
Yes,
we can use XPath, but CSS we that is not allowed. Only the
correct, correct,
front traversing is allowed, forward traversing.
correct, correct. Right. So you have whenever you want to navigate to one particular URL, you want to hit it and you want to open that URL, what syntax you will use?
driver.get URL.
Okay. And any other option we have?
Driver.navigate to.
Okay. So what is the difference between get and navigate, and why you are not opting navigate and using get? Any specific reason?
Like get is basically it will wait for the page to load and then it will perform further actions. But navigate it basically
Okay.
uses your browser history. It won't
Okay.
wait until the page is loaded and it will directly do the actions that you have written. So that's
Okay. Fine. So
I
I got
prefer.
to your point that why you prefer get over navigate, and what
Yeah,
all different methods we have in the navigate which are not available in get, right? So
yeah,
for those we can use navigate, right?
right. Like driver.navigate to forward, backward, dot refresh.
Okay. 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 So have you encountered stale element exception?
Yes.
Okay. And you have handled it. I hope so. So how you have handled it?
So I have handled it using waves, or I have in testng there is an annotation called at the rate expected. In that
Okay.
we can give the exception, whatever like if it
Okay.
is happening. Yep, I think
Okay.
these two methods only I have.
Okay, fine, fine. So suppose we have multiple browsers windows open right now, okay, and we have different methods to close those windows. What what all methods we have in this WebDriver, I can say, we can opt for closing the window.
The driver.quit method is there that will close all the browser instance.
Okay, and if I'm interested in only one
Then
particular window,
driver.close.
okay, and suppose 10 windows are there and I want to close second one.
Okay, you want to close second one.
Yes. Here you have to think from different point of view, and you have already given the answer earlier how you can handle windows. This is just a hint.
So I think we can do like driver.get window handles,
Okay.
and then
Then
we can switch to that second tab. Then we can
okay.
close driver.close that.
Okay, fine. So what is the difference between this get window handles and get window handle? There are two methods, right?
Right. Get window handle will only give the current or parent window, and window handle will give you all the window that are open
Mm-hmm.
currently in the browser. So it basically returns a set of strings.
Okay, return the set of strings, right? So you have also worked on TestNG along with your framework, right? So what
Right.
all annotations you have used, and what all the what is the significance of each annotation you whatever you have used, because there are multiple annotations and I'm 100% sure no one will use all of them in a single project or in a single class, right?
Right.
So can you tell me what all annotations you have used and what is the significance of those?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I like the basic annotation is at the rate test. So test is basically
Okay.
indicate that um, test is basically like this is the test. So we do at the rate test class. Then we have
Okay.
before suit. So
Okay.
before suit, basically we can use like for initializing, like calling the Chrome browser, and
Mm-hmm.
then we have if before method,
Okay.
or at either we can put that before suit, or then we like, and we have add that before test also. So in test
Okay.
or in suit, either we can place that Chrome, like if we are passing Chrome, then Chrome configuration should be it 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 should take and open the Chrome browser, and likewise for other browser. And before
O-
method, basically like we can, mm, I think before method we should place that like driver
Okay.
dot and then after method we should write driver dot close, and then I think before suit or before test, I think suit can be used for reading the configuration, like we use config dot properties, so we can use that for reading because
Okay.
that can be. And before test I am I'm not.
Okay. Not an issue on that. We can move further and like discuss some more thing. So in
And
the
like
like, yes, yes, you can continue if you want to share more.
there are like we I have also used like at the data provider, like
Provider.
yeah, for that particular scenario.
Okay. So can we achieve parallel execution?
Yes, we can achieve.
Okay. And what things we have to like add in the framework? Or
Framework,
we can
like
simply,
basically you can write thread count, I guess. Thread count suit like
okay.
name at the rate, then you can write, I think thread count and parallel is there. Method.
Okay. So we do these particular thing like thread count is equals to 3 or 5, where we should where we should do this particular thing somewhere in some specific file.
Yes, test ng dot.
Okay. Okay. Fine. So what is the difference between assert and verify?
Assert
Because
and verify.
assertion you have used, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now you can tell.
Assertion is basically uh, like suppose if you have 10 test cases and suppose the
Mm-hmm.
error occurred in the third one. So if
Mm-hmm.
you so the program will abort, and then all the remaining test cases won't execute. That is assert. And
Okay.
verify is basically suppose if the same case the exception occurred in the third one,
Mm-hmm.
so it will continue the execution, and the all the remaining 9 test cases will be executed, and one
Executed.
will be in the fail state.
Okay. Okay. So while creating any automation scripts, you might use some of the synchronization statements, right? So that scripts can be synchronized in a proper way, like implicit wait, explicit wait, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference between these two, and which particular synchronization statement you have used in your automation?
Okay. So I have used both implicit and explicit wait.
Okay. And
So
what
like
all the
in
conditions, as you said you have used both, so what all the conditions where you have used implicit and some of the times you have used explicit? There must be some situations, right?
right.
Okay, so you can explain.
Right. Suppose coming to the implicit weight. So implicit weight is the weight that is applied till the WebDriver instance is alive.
Okay.
Like, it is applied to each and every step of your script.
Okay.
Okay. So an explicit weight is basically like it is like it is basically like a weight that is
Okay.
applicable to a particular element on a web page. Like suppose the element is present or not, we can add
Okay.
that condition if that suppose the alert is there, alert is present or not, or some
Okay.
like there are multiple conditions in that. So like so it will only be there for that particular element, and then afterwards explicit like it is, you can say it is like a local variable, and
Okay.
that is like a global variable, because if you see in terms of Java, so
Okay.
it is like local is there within that particular method, and global is till the execution time. So it is, we can say it like this.
Okay. And like implicit thing, I want to discuss more. You said that it will wait for every action, right? So do we
Right,
need
for
to
each and every
provide?
step.
Yes. So every step. So do we need to provide some line, or without writing any line of code, it will wait?
Like we need to write that syntax, like it is like driver
Okay.
dot
So it means
driver dot manage.
whenever we write this particular line, it will wait
Yes,
before that action, right?
right.
It will not wait, or it will not implicitly wait for all the actions. It will wait for one particular action before that we have used.
Mm,
Okay.
sorry, I didn't get to. Oh,
Uh,
actually I didn't get to. Can you repeat once again?
yes. I am just saying, as you said, you will use implicit wait, and you will write one particular line before one particular action. So it means it will wait before performing that action, right?
Right.
It means we have to provide the code. It's not like it
For
is
code.
implicitly already there.
Yes, I think for both we need to give the, like we need to write driver dot, for implicit we write driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait.
Okay. And suppose we want to click on one particular element, which is like at the bottom of the web page. How we will can how we can click on that particular element?
Which is at the bottom of the web page. Basically,
Yes,
you are saying.
it is not visible on the current screen,
Oh,
but it is available.
okay, okay, it is available. Okay. So basically, you can scroll down and then you can click.
So how we can scroll down? Manually we can scroll
Like,
down.
like we can use JavaScript executor.
Okay.
Then we need to typecast our driver into JavaScript executor. Then we can write JavaScript dot execute script double
Okay.
execute script
Okay.
double quotes windows dot scroll by.
Okay.
Then then you
Got
can
it.
give the XY coordinate.
Okay. Fine. So Chetan, what kind of frameworks you have used? Like data
I have
driven, you
used
have used.
data driven, hybrid, and I have used BDD framework.
Okay. So for data driven, how you have like proceed further? Like what all the utilities you have used for the data driven?
Like there are two ways. One is
Yes.
basically by using Apache and Apache POI dependencies in
Okay.
your Maven. And another
Mm-hmm.
one I have used is the Philo dependency. That is
Okay.
much more easier. Like we need to
Okay.
write less code, and it
Mm-hmm.
is like the code is also very simple.
Okay.
So these two I have.
Okay. So suppose in your framework, I want to write one particular test script, test method, or I can say that I want to verify login functionality. So this particular flow, how I can achieve, like what all things I have to create in order to execute the script. Okay, like I need to extend the base class, these all things, can you explain? You have folder structure,
Okay.
suppose right now
Okay.
everything is there, only thing that I want to write one script in your particular framework. So what all
So
things can I directly create one test class and extend the base and directly write it, or what all things, if I want to fetch the data from the external source, what what utility I can use, I want to validate the data, do we have any validation points, like we are validating from the DB?
got it. So
Got it?
I need to basically give the like overview, I guess.
Yes, you can give the overview, like how you are creating any script in your framework.
Okay. Like suppose first of all, like coming to the BDT, so we need to we can create a feature file where we
Mm-hmm.
can have given, we can have like scenario
Mm-hmm.
outline,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like feature is there, feature then scenario outline. We can keep it
Mm-hmm.
as login functionality, and then we
Mm-hmm.
can write in Gherkin language given when then.
Okay.
And if you're using scenario outline, then we have to write examples, and then you can mention the username, password. You can give the examples there, then and there only.
Okay.
Then we have step definition file where you can write the code, and we have one.
Okay.
It is there in step definition package, and we have
Okay.
page package where you can create a login.java, give all
Mm-hmm.
the web elements. So
Okay.
at the rate find by whatever XPath ID is there, and
Okay.
then you can, that's it, like, and then a util package is there, like all the common functionality is already there. Then we have config.properties where we can mention the URL, and we
Okay.
have an like hooks class also at the
Okay.
rate method and before method. So
Okay.
we can give the driver a clue that is already written, opening and closing of the browser there, hooks class, and I think
Okay.
that's that.
Chetan, so in the BDD, we need test runner also, right?
Yeah, test channels.
Okay.
That,
So
and
what
then
is
you
the
can
use
give
of
the
that
tag.
particular file?
Basically, it is used to run the feature file. Like we can
Okay.
mention the tag, like we can give a tag there, and it is used
Okay.
to generate the report in different formats. Uh,
Okay. Fine. Fine. So I think you are more comfortable in BDD, right? Compared to all the different frameworks.
yeah, like for DDT, basically like now what we have done like that, like we have used Philo dependency or Apache PI instead of giving in example.
Okay.
Examples, we are now making the test case one, test case two, like, and we are keeping that test case data in the Excel sheet.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that is also we like I have done. So like for
Okay.
that we have used Philo dependency. Like you need to add that Philo, and then basically a separate, you need to create one class and utility package where you can pass the test case number and the
Okay.
tab. sheet tab name, and there you can, it is basically using like a SQL query, select from
Okay,
this, so then you can
okay,
easily get the data.
okay,
Right.
okay, fine.
And I know using Apache and Apache POA also.
Okay, okay. So that's great. If you are aware about multiple things, then that's great. So now, Chetan, you have also worked on this page object model, right?
Right.
You have used in your web automation,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
why you have used this page object model, and can you give us one example how you have implemented this page object model?
Like basically page object model, it is a design pattern in which each and every web page should have a corresponding
Mm-hmm.
Java class. So this was
Okay,
basically if we need to overcome the stale element exception, we are using the page object
okay,
model.
okay, okay,
So
fine. So it's like for designing purpose.
yeah, design. So in that, if suppose there is a login page, so we will have to create a login page. Thus, there we need to write. We can find the elements by using @find by annotation, like locate the elements at using @find by annotation, and then
Okay,
there like we have in init method there, which is used to initialize the elements in the web page.
okay, okay. So Chetan, suppose you have created one page object, okay, and now you have created your test class, extended your base file. Now you have executed your, I can say, first test case in your automation framework. After that, you want to integrate your entire framework with Jenkins. Okay. So any idea about Jenkins? Suppose n number of test cases are already there. You want to integrate with Jenkins. So you have worked on Jenkins, or like you have only knowledge about Jenkins?
I have
Okay. So can you explain little bit how you can proceed?
okay, like we can give the git git path where the project is in the git, and then we can use the maven commands, like we can
Okay.
like there is an option from where you want the source code, so you can give the git name, id, password, username, and the git link that, and then we have to mention the branch,
Okay.
and then like if we are using, we can, if we are, it is a maven project only, then we can write in
Chetan,
the,
Chetan, your voice is breaking and little bit low.
now it's better.
Yes, now it's better. You can now explain.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, like I have used UI for writing my job, for creating the jobs.
Okay.
So this is how, like I give the usually the git path, the branch name,
Okay. Okay.
and then we can give the maven like mvn clean install, and then how many times you want, like skip cucumber, like if we want to skip some tests and all that. So this is how I have done.
Okay. Okay, fine. So Chetan, one thing that suppose you have written some line of code, some you have added some files. Now you want to push your code in Git. As you said, you
Yes,
want to pass your branch, or I can say you want to pass the link of your Git in the Jenkins so that you can execute it from the Jenkins. Otherwise, if code is on the local and you will not push it on the Git or whatever the version control, I can say, then it would be difficult, right?
right.
So what all steps you do for committing your code to your branch?
Okay, so it's basically like we do like Git.
Suppose master branch is there, and you are going to write test case for login. Now first step is, what will you
We,
do?
we need to take the pull into a local into our workspace or ID, and then
Okay,
we write up the code, and then we need to push the code from a remote to the from a local repository to the remote that is GitHub. So it is
okay,
like for it is like basically git push whatever the name of the branch, git push branch name, and then origin master, then we
okay,
can push it like, or
okay.
you
Fine.
or
Chetan, I think there is lots of internet connectivity issue from your end, because your voice is more breaking right now, and we are not able to hear correctly.
now it's better because
It's like sometime it will be better, then after it will again start lagging. So not an issue on that. We have discussed so many things, from manual to automation, Java. Only thing that I also want to discuss about the API automation side, but I think this internet connectivity issue is like giving us more challenge, right? So till now, I think everything is fine, and I will share you the feedback after this particular call to you. Okay.
okay, sure.
Okay. Thank you, Chetan, for this
Thank,
mock interview. Hope
thank you, sir.
this particular session will help you.
Yeah, it will
Okay.
definitely help you, and thank you so much for taking your time
Yes.
and conducting this.
Okay. Okay. Fine. All the best.
Thank you so much.